Hey, I've been watching almost every night Peter Pan for the last 2 weeks with my son. He's absolutely in love with the character. And there is a particular moment in that old movie cartoon that is just kind of like made a little bit of a noise there. And is Wendy is having a little bit of a moment with Peter Pan where she asks him to, she basically says that she has to go back. He says like no in a funny way and walks away. And then she turns to her little brothers and she's like, but do you want to stay here and become savages? And they say, of course. And then she immediately responds, but you can't. You don't have a mother, and we all need a mother. That's basically the kind of like the little clip there. And then the story continues. And I think those two sentences are very related. Being a savage with not having a mother. Understanding mother here as an infrastructure. So not as the maternal role of the mother who nurtures and, gives love, but as the infrastructure that provides you with an opportunity to belong to a civilized world and not be a savage. Like, I have no idea what was the intention of this dialogue, but this is how I am interpreting these two sentences together. And to me, that has to do with what's going on with the birth rates. And basically, if we continue down this path with some of the extinction of a big portion of humanity, or at least what we certain ethnicities inside humanity, the human race, and is this contrast between becoming infrastructure to provide an opportunity to enter the civilized world versus being an eternal savage, which is being an outcast outside of that infrastructure, being part of these Peter Pan gang where there is no need to belong or to ground or to root, because there is no one that needs you to become that, right? There's no reason why you should be grounded or rooted, become that foundation for that infrastructure if there are no children around you. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that we've become a very comfortable society where we are basically becoming these savages where everything is about ourselves, about our immediate gratification, about this idea that liberty means choosing choice between these and these, and I have this right to be able to choose, and that is the epitome of the grandiose life. That is a complete reversal from the generational link, the generational chain that it has been going on since, the times of the times. And it's only until very recently that these birth rates have plummeted. So, it was interesting to watch that. At the same time, one of my good girlfriends called me and she was, just spilling all the gossip on her last boo and like why things didn't last, and she didn't really care about it. She felt liberated that things didn't work out because that way she didn't have to manage, something. And she was very comfortable. That's what she said. So, while I'm talking with her, I'm just watching this scene, and then I'm thinking to myself, right, that's kind of everyone's attitude at this point, where if it's not comfortable, then I don't. This is the mechanism. I'm so comfortable in my own autonomy because I am able to choose that I don't want to give up anything up to anyone. It's just like there's always these kind of like walls around me. So we're just floating in space, unrooted, very comfortable, obviously. But it's just we become outside, like we just kind of like put ourselves in this position where we are just that. We're not, where our identity, I guess, is the most important thing that happens around. And sometimes that identity, I guess when you have a child, that identity kind of like breaks out and just absolutely shatters on the floor. And in a way, it transcends into something that is more aligned with the idea of a chain or a generational chain. And I think that this is something that is embedded in us and that we all, in a way, experience. All of us that are parents experience. And I don't want to be dismissive about this other type of life, the childless life, because I actually lived it myself all the way until I was 44. I was very lucky to get pregnant and kind of experience this other side of what being human means. It's just, I think that when you become a parent and become part of that chain, you transcend that kind of like thin identity layer. You transcend it, you break it to just become part of something that is bigger, and not only bigger, but then also heavier. And obviously not everyone is up for that. I'm not advocating for parenthood as the top dream of everyone, or the top realization in life. Everyone is different, and obviously it's rightful that people do not want to feel that heaviness, because it's definitely a type of identity that just kind of gets you very much grounded. I read very recently an article about this where the author, a Spanish author, mentions that having a child makes you necessary. And being necessary for someone is definitely something very, very heavy. But at the same time, it's something very human. Again, you just have these, kind of pass of time, and you're part of that, not only your own passage of time, but then of the full generation. Anyways, I don't know if this makes sense. I thought it was very interesting because I do think that in a way, this childless, movement that you can see with the record low fertility birth rates is a type of savagery. I don't know if I'm saying that word right. These are type of savages. They are outside of that infrastructure, you know. That's how I saw it. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Magdalene. I do these videos because I want to learn how to articulate my thoughts better. I have a little Substack there where I really dive deeper into these thoughts. If you want to go and check it out, by all means, please do. Thank you. Bye.